morning, good morning. It is your boy Jake Goble, Not Many Noble, back at it again. Bible through in 22, just for you. And we are finishing up the book of Exodus today. Reading through in chronological order, or a reading list that is ordered chronologically. I only say that because it's like, close enough. I don't know. It's hard to be definitive when it comes to these things about the chronology of events. Do it as best we can. But we went Genesis, then we went Job, then we went Exodus. And typically you go Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, right? Those are the first 5 books of the Bible, the first 5 books of Moses, the Torah. So we went Genesis, and then we put Job in there, and then we went Exodus. And now we're going to finish Exodus and go to Numbers instead of Leviticus. But we're only going to be in Numbers. Well, we're going to be in Numbers for a few days and then jump into Leviticus. Then we're back in Numbers. We're going to finish up Numbers, and then we'll jump into Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy's pretty straightforward. We go to Psalm 90. I think it's it's Moses' Psalm, where we think where we think it was written, close to it. It's difficult to tell, but it does jump around a little bit. And I like that. I like that because, at least for me, it kind of helped me figure out where stuff was. And if you've read the Bible through kind of in the regular order that it is, sometimes it can get a little confusing. It's like, whoa, if your brain works like that, if your brain likes history and likes dates and knowing what other people were doing at other times, kind of helps. At least it helped me. That's what I'm choosing for this year. And I hope it is of benefit to you as well. Let's get into Exodus 32. We are just about done with the tabernacle, or at least the making of the things for the tabernacle of the tent of meeting. It's kind of what was going on. Remember, Moses was on the mountain. He got the 10 Commandments. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall make no other graven images and make no graven images and bow down to them and worship them. You shall not misuse the name of Yahweh's name. You shall keep the Sabbath day holy. You shall honor your father and your mother. You shall not commit murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor, and you shall not covet anything that your neighbor has. Okay. And then he comes down. They are worshiping a bull, saying, "This is the God that brought you up out of Egypt." And it's like, no. Then we looked at that entailed a lot more than just worshiping the golden calf, right? There's more to it. There's more to this worshiping calves, bulls, and the history kind of that idolatry. It's more than just somebody set up a metal animal and we're going to bow down to it. It entailed typically, and we're going to see that throughout Israel's time in Canaan here, is child sacrifices, sexual impurity. It was a lot. It was a lot. Perhaps some drug use as well, some psychedelics. I know we'll get into that. I know some of y'all hear me reading acacia wood all the time, and you're like, yo, what's up with the acacia wood? I think we'll talk about it later. We're not going to talk about it right now. We're going to talk about it later. But I think there's something there. I think there's something there. I don't know everything, but I think there's something there. For those of y'all that don't know, just hang tight with me. We are going to get you. Thus, all the work of the tabernacle of the tent of meeting was finished. The children of Israel did according to all that Yahweh commanded Moses. So they did. They brought the tabernacle to Moses, the tent with all its furniture, its clasps, its boards, its bars, its pillars, its sockets, the covering of ram skins dyed red, the covering of sea cow hides, the veil of the screen, the ark of the covenant with its poles, the mercy seat, the table, all its vessels, the showbread, the pure lampstand, its lamps, even the lamps to be set in order, all its vessels, the oil for the light, the golden altar, the anointing oil, the sweet incense, the screen for the door of the tent, the bronze altar, its grating of bronze, its poles, all its vessels, the basin and its base, the hangings of the court, its pillars, its sockets, the screen for the gate of the court, its cords, its pins, and all the instruments of the service of the tabernacle for the tent of meeting, the finely worked garments for ministering in the holy place, the holy garments for Aaron the priest, and the garments of his sons to minister in the priest's office. According to all that Yahweh commanded Moses, so the children of Israel did all the work. Moses saw all the work, and behold, they had done it as Yahweh had commanded. They had done so, and Moses blessed them. So that was Exodus 39. Let me finish that. And now we're going to read Exodus 40. And that will conclude the book of Exodus. Exodus 40. Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, on the first day of the first month you shall raise up the tabernacle of the tent of meeting. You shall put the ark of the covenant in it, and you shall screen the ark with the veil. You shall bring in the table and set in order the things that are on it. You shall bring in the lampstand and light its lamps. You shall set the golden altar for incense before the ark of the covenant and put the screen of the door to the tabernacle. You shall set the altar of burnt offering before the door of the tabernacle of the tent of meeting. You shall set the basin between the tent of meeting and the altar and shall put water therein. You shall set up the court around it and hang up the screen of the gate of the court. You shall take the anointing oil and anoint the tabernacle and all that is in it, and shall make it holy, and all its furniture, and it will be holy. You shall anoint the altar of burnt offering with all its vessels, and sanctify the altar, and the altar will be most holy. You shall anoint the basin and its base, and sanctify it. You shall bring Aaron and his sons to the door of the tent of meeting, and shall wash them with water. You shall put on Aaron the holy garments, and you shall anoint him and sanctify him, that he may minister to me in the priest's office. You shall bring his sons and put tunics on them. You shall anoint them, as you anointed their father, that they may minister to me in the priest's office. Their anointing shall be to them for an everlasting priesthood throughout their generations. Moses did so, according to all that Yahweh commanded him. So he did. Man, might that be said of us. Of all that God commanded us, so we did. Yahweh commands and we obey. Something about that we just do not like, though. I don't know what it is. It's rebellious hearts. Verse 17, in the first month, in the second year, on the first day of the month, the tabernacle was raised up. Moses raised up the tabernacle and laid its sockets and set up its boards and put in its bars and raised up its pillars. He spread the covering over the tent and put the roof of the tabernacle upon it, as Yahweh commanded Moses. He took and put the covenant into the ark and set the poles on the ark and put the mercy seat above the ark. He brought the ark into the tabernacle and set up the veil of the screen and screened the ark of the covenant, as Yahweh commanded Moses. He put the table in the tent of meeting on the north side of the tabernacle, outside the veil. He set the bread in order on it before Yahweh, as Yahweh commanded Moses. He put the lampstand in the tent of meeting opposite the table on the south side of the tabernacle. He lit the lamps before Yahweh, as Yahweh commanded Moses. He put the golden altar in the tent of meeting before the veil, and he burned incense of sweet spices on it, as Yahweh commanded Moses. He put up the screen of the door to the tabernacle. He set the altar of burnt offering at the door of the tabernacle of the tent of meeting, and offered on it the burnt offering and the meal offering, as Yahweh commanded Moses. He set the basin between the tent of meeting and the altar, and put water therein, with which to wash. Moses, Aaron, and his sons washed their hands and their feet there. When they went into the tent of meeting, and when they came near to the altar, they washed as Yahweh commanded Moses. He raised up the court around the tabernacle and the altar, and set up the screen of the gate of the court. So Moses finished the work. Then the cloud covered the tent of meeting, and Yahweh's glory filled the tabernacle. Moses wasn't able to enter into the tent of meeting because the cloud stayed on it, and Yahweh's glory filled the tabernacle. When the cloud was taken up from over the tabernacle, the children of Israel went onward throughout all their journeys. But if the cloud wasn't taken up, then they didn't travel until the day that it was taken up. For the cloud of Yahweh was on the tabernacle by day, and there was fire in the cloud by night, in the sight of all the house of Israel throughout all their journeys. They got to see that. And they were still a rebellious lot. Man, what does that say about us and the challenges that we face? We don't have the benefit of seeing and for those of us who think that that would be easier or that we would be better off if I could just see, that is probably not the case. It's probably not the case. We probably would still struggle with doubt and sin and remaining corruption. As most certainly, sorry, not most likely, most certainly, we would still struggle with remaining corruption, doubt, temptation, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, selfishness, anger, licentiousness, the things that we're trying to do to mortify the flesh would still be there. Still be there. Numbers 9, verses 15 through 23. Oh, it's the same thing. On the day that the tabernacle was raised up, the cloud covered the tabernacle, even the tent of the testimony. At evening it was over the tabernacle, as it were the appearance of fire, until morning. So it was continually. The cloud covered it in the appearance of fire by night. Whenever the cloud was taken up from over the tent, then after that the children of Israel traveled, and in the place where the cloud remained, there the children of Israel encamped. At the commandment of Yahweh the children of Israel traveled, and at the commandment of Yahweh they encamped. As long as the cloud remained on the tabernacle, they remained encamped. When the cloud stayed on the tabernacle many days, then the children of Israel kept Yahweh's command and didn't travel. Sometimes the cloud was a few days on the tabernacle, then according to the commandment of Yahweh they remained encamped, and according to the commandment of Yahweh they traveled. Sometimes the cloud was from evening until morning, and when the cloud was taken up in the morning they traveled, or by day and by night. When the cloud was taken up, they traveled. Whether it was 2 days or a month or a year that the cloud stayed on the tabernacle, remaining on it, the children of Israel remained encamped and didn't travel. But when it was taken up, they traveled. At the commandment of Yahweh they encamped, and at the commandment of Yahweh they traveled. They kept Yahweh's command at the commandment of Yahweh by Moses. And then we're going to backtrack into Numbers 7 tomorrow. So, all right. It would be nice to have a pillar of cloud and a fire at night, to know where we should go, to know what path we should travel, to know where we should go with our lives. What career should I choose? Where should I live? What should I do? For some of us, these questions are very challenging. For others, it's more like, well, this is where my family's been. This is where I've always been. This is where I'm probably going to die. Sometimes we leave, go to college, and then come back, and then set up shop. Notice that out here in the Midwest, that is very common. Got family in the Chicago area. Sometimes they've got family in Michigan, and they'll go to Michigan for the summer, or they'll go someplace for the summer, and then they come back, and then they leave for college and then come back. But there's always this home base, and there's this home, family, extended family, lots of family, and there's just comfort. There's contentment. There is something that they know they're comfortable with. So you can kind of see why people stay in one place. And I think the majority of people stay in one place. Or within 25 miles or something of where they're born, something like that, something crazy like that. And then others of us are like vagabonds cruising the planet, picking up and cruising along, going from place to place to place to place to place. I think both have their benefits, both have their drawbacks. And I don't think one is necessarily more godly or contented than the other, the life of the vagabond. But the question, or the life of this not stay-at-home mom, or the life of the, stay where you're planted. I guess I just wonder, how do you figure that out? By prayer, by fasting, by reading the Word, by looking to the wisdom that God gives us in His Word. We also know that there's wisdom in a multitude of counselors. But when you've been failed by counselors, you've been failed by people, they've not given you what it is that you need, where do you turn? Where do you go? And I would say primarily prayer and the Bible reading. And then last thing, this faith that God knows what He's doing with you and for you. And you're where you are for a reason, because He is sovereign. He's working it out. We don't have the cloud. We don't have the fire. But we can know that God is working in us and for us to accomplish His will, regardless of where we are. That's what God's doing, and He's got it. So, thanks for listening, and I will catch you tomorrow.